لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك لبيك والنعمة.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. This is Asiyan Saar. I am Rashida Abubakar, your regular anchor, welcoming you to another edition of the program. In preparation for the 2024 Hajj exercise, Nigeria and the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia have signed a Memorandum of Understanding. The signing of the MOU is formality that comes up annually, during which countries are invited separately to commit to agreements that will shape their participation in the Hajj exercise. In our Spotlight segment, we shall bring you highlights of the MOU signed and the impact of the conduct of 2024 Hajj. Keep watching. Also on the program, we have other regular segments such as Making the Hajj and NAHCON News Diary, which highlight the activities of NAHCON and other stakeholders in the Hajj industry. And on the quiz, a winner has emerged. Details will be announced in the course of the program. Stay with us.
لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. The program kicks off with the News Diary. Stay tuned.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the appointment of new board and management team for the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria (NAHCON), pending the confirmation of the Senate. A State House press statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngelali, lists the three executive commissioners as follows: Aliyu Abdrazak, Commissioner, Policy, Personnel and Finance; Prince Anofi Elegushi, Commissioner of Operations; Professor Abubakar Yagawal, Commissioner, Planning and Research. It further states that the appointees for the zonal offices are Dr. Muhammad Umaru Ndagi, North Central; Abba Jato Kala, Northeast; Sheikh Muhammad bin Othman, Northwest; Tajuddin Oladejo Abefe, Southwest. Others are Aisha Obi Ahmad, Southeast, and Zainab Musa, South-South. Also appointed are Professor Musa Inwafodio, representing Jama'atul Nasrul Islam, and Professor Adedemizi Mahfouz, representing Supreme Council for Islamic Affairs. The President urged the appointees to dedicate themselves in ensuring that the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria becomes more efficient, transparent, and responsive to the needs of Nigerians. In other news, the federal government has granted approval to 3 air carriers to airlift Nigerian pilgrims during the 2024 Hajj. A statement by NAHCON's Head of Public Affairs, Hajia Fatima Sanda Usara, says the airlines approved are as follows: Max Air, Air Peace, and Fly NAS. Also approved to fly pilgrims' excess luggage are Cargo Zeal, NAHCON Aviance, and Kala Investment. The statement further says that Max Air with the highest allocation is responsible for transporting pilgrims from Bauchi, Benue, Kano, Katsina, Kogi, Nasarawa, Adamawa, Oyo, Taraba, Kaduna, Gombe, Jigawa, Plateau States, and the Armed Forces. On its part, Air Peace will move pilgrims from Abia, Akwa Ibom, Anambra, Bayelsa, Cross River, Delta, Ebonyi, Edo, Ekiti, Enugu, Imo, Kwara, Ondo, River States, and the FCT. Similarly, Flynas will airlift pilgrims from Borno, Sokoto, Lagos, Osun, Ogun, Niger, Kebbi, Yobe, and Zamfara states. The approval came after the air carriers had gone through successful screening by NAHCON. Meanwhile, as Nigerian delegation continues its pre-Hajj engagement in Saudi Arabia, the chairman of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, Malam Jalal Ahmad Arabi, is seeking for the strengthening of the relationship between Nigeria and Islamic Development Bank. The chairman stated this when he visited and met with IDB officials in Mecca. He expressed gratitude to the IDB for its technical assistance, which facilitated the establishment of the Hajj Savings Scheme, Hajj Institute of Nigeria, as well as underlined the operations of the bank by NAHCON staff. The NAHCON board's further request for the engagement of Nigerian skilled and unskilled manpower, such as veterinary doctors and manual workers during Hajj, particularly under Hadaya or animal sacrifice. He said the bank can also open a market for Nigeria to export sacrificial animals, among others. Vice President of the Operations at the Islamic Development Bank, Dr. Mansour Mukhtar, appreciated Nigeria, saying efforts will be made to sustain the ties between the bank and Nigeria.
لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك.
Alhamdulillah, you are still watching As You Answer the Call, a public enlightenment presentation that keeps you abreast of the activities of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON, and other Hajj-related matters. On Sunday, the 7th of this month, the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Maitama Tugga, was in Saudi Arabia to sign the MOU for the 2024 Hajj on behalf of Nigeria. The Saudi Minister for Hajj and Umrah, Dr. Tawfiq Arabia, signed for his country. With the MOU in place, the way has been paved for Nigeria to commence discussion with service providers and other stakeholders in Saudi Arabia. For details of this and more, stay tuned for the next segment Spotlight. Keep watching.
لبيك لبيك اللهم لبيك 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 اللهم لبيك 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 اللهم لبيك.
The Nigerian Minister for Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Maitama Tugga, and the Saudi Minister for Hajj and Umrah, Dr. Tawfiq Arabia, have on behalf of the two countries signed an MOU for the 2024 Hajj. The ceremony leading to the signing of the MOU took place in Jeddah on Sunday, the 7th of January 2024. The Nigerian delegation at the pre-Hajj visit included NAHCON chairman Malam Jalal Ahmad Arabi and his team, as well as executives of state pilgrims welfare boards and tour operators. In the MOU signed, Nigeria's quota for the 2024 Hajj stands at 95,000 as earlier announced. While speaking at the ceremony, the Nigerian Minister for Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Maitama Tugga, called for a lasting solution to shortage of tents in Mina and pressed for more favorable terms for Nigerian air carriers during the Hajj airlift operations. Responding, the Saudi Minister for Hajj and Umrah, Dr. Tawfiq Arabia, acknowledged the challenge of space in Mina and assured that efforts will be made to maximize the use of the available 2 million square meters for the over 2 million pilgrims performing Hajj annually. He expressed the ministry's support for all measures aimed at giving pilgrims the best services. In a virtual interview, NAHCON chairman Malam Jalal Ahmad Arabi expatiated further on the MOU and other related issues.
That signifies the commencement of the Hajj preparation under consideration for that particular year. And the contents of the MOU are not different from the expectations of the host government and the nations that are bringing in the pilgrims in terms of the do's and the don'ts. They are the processes and the procedures expected of the two sides to be abided by in the discharge of their responsibilities as it relates to the performance of Hajj.
He said, with MOU in place, Nigerian delegation have the green light to commence negotiation with service providers.
Well, like I said, the contents open the gates for engagement with the service providers. When we say service providers, we mean those that provide accommodation for pilgrims, catering services for pilgrims, transportation, the stay at Muna, Arafat, Musdalifah, and all activities associated with the ritual.
Yeah.
With the signing of the MOU, nations that are bringing in pilgrims have now been given the check to engage with these service providers.
Prior to the commencement of inspection of facilities in Mecca and Medina, officials from NAHCON state and tour operators held a strategic meeting to fine-tune their plans for engagement.
The first thing we did on arrival was to alert our colleagues from the states and the tour operators that were around. We shared our programs with them. We had the first meeting with the two segments, the states and the tour operators, outline our plans, our engagements in form of a timeline, encourage them to be around to participate in whatever we do, since whatever is the situation after all is said and done, we are catering for Nigerian pilgrims, whether they come through the states or through the tour operators.
Thereafter, NAHCON team led other teams from state and tour operators to undertake the physical inspection of facilities such as accommodation and kitchens. The idea is to ensure that standards are met in making the choices.
All these are expected to do before you commit pen to paper, so that you get services commensurate to what you pay for.
Have been going around to inspect hotels and houses that will accommodate our pilgrims. We have also been going around the kitchens to discuss with the catering service providers on the menu to give us and all that has to do with pilgrims feeding. And our experiences of in the Hajj 2023, for those of us who have retained our catering service providers, and for those of us that have retained also our accommodation service providers, most of us going back to inspect to see again if we can get our last year's hotels and the houses that accommodated our pilgrims.
Alhamdulillah, we got our accommodation at Rimbash, and as you know that Rimbash is close to Aram. So, and the accommodation, it has capacity to accommodate our pilgrimage. So, I can tell you that the criteria that NAHCON, the NAHCON criteria, we got it, and the accommodation is very well.
We come here to conclude about our accommodation for Medina, and then we now move to Makkah and arrange for Makkah too. Then by the time we conclude with them, we already know that we already have. This is the second allocation as given to me. So I need how many rooms that I am requesting for my hotel. So we are doing the booking now, and then we now have to have agreement with the hotel, the pricing and everything. You know, if we didn't have the pricing, how are we going to give our clients?
On the issue of feeding, officials are stressing on the need to have menu with Nigerian dishes.
So our agreement, we have agreed with our service provider that they will provide for us our indigenous food. Alhamdulillah. Our kitchen is very, very close to our accommodation.
Towards reaching for agreement, the Nigerian delegation led by NAHCON chairman held series of meetings with service providers and signed different MOUs with organizations such as General Car Syndicate, Adilla Establishment, United Agents Wukala, and many more. Still during the pre-Hajj visit, Nigerian delegation participated in Hajj and Umrah Services Conference and the Hajj and Umrah exhibition in Jeddah.
The essence of the exhibition and the conference is encouraging all the service providers to find their various stands by the exhibition. And then participants are encouraged to go around, sample the capacities and the capabilities of all these exhibitors or all the service providers that would have taken places at the exhibition to display their capacity and capability. You are at liberty to visit all if you can, but there are many. I bet you couldn't be visiting all. Yeah. But of course, to sample areas of interest, visit as many as you can. It's a competitive world now, it's open. Yeah. Sit down with them, ask them questions, pitch with them your interests, areas of interest, hear them out, and in the end, form your opinion, take a decision, and move forward.
So we went around, as we are saying, we are talking about for the accommodation. On this exhibition we went, we have so many agencies, not agencies in that tour operator, but some the service providers. We visit them one by one to see so that we can have the best we can afford to for this year, because of the last year we had a little problem and challenges, but we are doing our best to get the best we can do.
The conference brought to fore what to expect in the coming years, and then how countries should be able to adjust their planning for Hajj so as to meet the challenges of the future and then to key into the future.
With the Nigerian Hajj officials still engaging service providers in Saudi Arabia, their key message is for intending pilgrims to take advantage of the grace period available for them to make payments before the end of January.
Any country who actually complete their pre-Hajj preparation and make all the necessary arrangements, make the correct payment of their pilgrim to the Ministry of Hajj, then we get a relatively closer space to Jamrah of their choice, because it's going to strictly based on first come, first serve.
The challenge of space in Mina and feeding featured prominently during the pre-Hajj visit, with all parties stressing the need to have them addressed so that pilgrims can have value for their money. Consistent with the policy on Hajj administration, NAHCON is responsible for the stay of pilgrims in Medina, while that of Mecca is managed by the states under the supervision of NAHCON.
MashaAllah, the program is as you answer the call. Coming up next is Making the Hajj. Stay tuned.
لبيك لبيك اللهم لبيك 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 اللهم لبيك.
Pilgrims declare intention and assume the state of Ihram in one of the different locations or stations known as Mawaqit. Where are these locations or Mawaqit? When are pilgrims expected to be there?
Miqat is the boundary, so it's a place.
On Making the Hajj, Sheikh Abdullahi Musa answers these and other questions.
It's a boundary, so to say, beyond which anyone that intends to perform Hajj or Umrah should not pass without entering into the state of Ihram. And Ihram, sanctity, into the where certain things that are halal are forbidden for the one that has entered into the state of Ihram. So the miqat is the boundary. So it's a place that has been set as a boundary for all intending pilgrimages, that whoever intends to perform Hajj or Umrah must enter into the state of Ihram in that particular place, beyond which it is not allowed for you to do that.
The Mawaqit, or places designated for pilgrims to assume the state of Ihram, are Dhul Khulaifa is the miqat for the people coming from the direction of Medina. Al-Juhfa is 187 kilometers northwest of Mecca. People also call it Rabiqa, usually for people entering Mecca from Jeddah, and also those coming from Syria, Jordan, Palestine, and Lebanon. Arn al-Manazil and is the miqat for the people of Najd. Yalamlam and is the miqat for those coming from Yemen. Zatu Irq is 94 kilometers to the northeast of Mecca and is the miqat for the people of Iraq.
That was the one that was established during the reign of Umar bin Khattab. Then you have Qarn al-Manazil, alaysa kadhalik, for the people of Sham, alaysa kadhalik. Sham comprises Syria, Jordan, Palestine, and even the people from Lebanon.
Where then is the miqat or station for the residents of Mecca?
The scholars say for them they don their ihram, as residents, but for the one that comes from outside is not a resident of Mecca, and then he intends to perform Umrah or Hajj, or you spend 15 days, as some of the scholars have said. He spent 15 days. It's an issue of ikhtilaf. He spends 15 days after performing the first Umrah. Then he has a period of 15 days. He wants to perform another Umrah. Then there are about 6 places. But the commonest is, Hudaybiyah is one of the places that you go. You go outside, because what is needed is to go outside the sanctuary of Mecca, the precincts of Mecca, the entirety of it. That is why the scholars will tell you that wherever you pray in within the vicinity of Mecca city, you have that reward that is promised to that person that prays in Haram, because it is the sanctity. So you go outside the sanctity of it, and then you have the Masjid al-Tan'im, also known as the Masjid al-Aisha, that is common about 5 miles away from Kaaba, I think, or the city center.
A pilgrim that passes his or her miqat without assuming the state of ihram has 2 options, says the Islamic scholar.
He can correct it one of the 2 ways. It is not wrong if he goes back to the miqat to don the ihram. Do you understand? Or should he continue onward to Mecca to perform Umrah or Hajj, if it is Tamattu Umrah together with Hajj while in that state, goes ahead to Mecca without turning back to the place of miqat where he should have done his ihram? Then for him is sacrifice. He will slaughter a sacrificial animal as a penalty for passing the miqat without donning the ihram.
Alhamdulillah, now it's time to know the winner of last week's quiz and the question for this week. Good luck.
لبيك لبيك اللهم لبيك.
Welcome to the quiz segment. The question in the last episode was, what is the Islamic name for Hajj by proxy? The correct answer is Hajj al-Badal. The winner is Hafsat Umar from Abuja. She provided the answer ahead of others. Hafsat Umar will be contacted on how NAHCON will reach her with the prize she won. The quiz winner will get 25,000 Naira cash prize. This is part of NAHCON's effort in social investment in Nigeria. Now to the quiz for this week, and the question is, name the persons on whose behalf Hajj al-Badal can be performed. Again, name the persons on whose Hajj al-Badal can be performed. Text your answer to the number showing on your screen. The winner will be the first person whose correct answer is received. All answers should carry the name and location of sender. Good luck and happy viewing. Once again, good luck to you. Up next are your messages. Adeni Ilaidi from Oyo State sent in the first message. It reads, I commend NAHCON and the federal government for the extension of the 2024 Hajj fare payment deadline to the 31st of January. May Allah reward you abundantly. The second message came from Hussein Okene. It says, I appreciate the good work of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NAHCON. I wish the Commission Allah's guidance and protection. This is where we draw the curtain on today's program. See you same time, same day next week with another edition of the program. But before we go, remember that you can send your messages, comments, observations and questions through our mobile phone number and other social media platforms. Once again, thanks for watching. Ma'assalam.
لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا شريك لك لبيك إن الحمد والنعمة لك والملك لا شريك لك لبيك اللهم لبيك لبيك لا